Now, there is one tank in the Calliope platoon that I haven't used much, and I believe that one tank is quite interesting. It is the M4A5 or something along those lines. It has a very interesting name, and the tank itself is quite unique. It is the M4A5. That's the thing that I was talking about. Now this thing does kind of look like the T1E1. It is a medium tank. It is a chunky medium tank. Has a decent armor. Has a 57mm main cannon. 40km/h is the top speed. 5km/h is the reverse. Weighs 29 tons. Average penetration is 102mm. Reload is very fast at 4 seconds. The turret rotation speed is okay, 20 degrees per second. The armor on this thing is impressive. Now, this tank does have some weak spots, although it is a very unique vehicle and you'll bounce a lot of shells with it. But the main thing about this tank is that main gun. Now 57mm isn't much, and usually smaller caliber guns and shells tend to do a bit less damage than the larger caliber counterparts. Now, this vehicle does have some very interesting ammo types. Doesn't have the explosive APC-BC, but it does have HE and does have the normal APC-BC, which does a very good job. And surprisingly, this little cannon can penetrate a lot of armor. I was very surprised when I used this tank for the first time. And well, let's take this thing for a ride. So I have a PCBC. Now it has 29 shells. Might be a bit too much, but you have to keep in mind that this is a small gun, a small caliber weapon. Well, it's not small, but it is definitely smaller than the Sherman's gun, and it's smaller than the gun that we see on the T1E1. But it does have a very good reload, and that reload makes this tank very satisfying to use. Now, of course, the reason why I have this much ammo, you will be running out of ammo very quickly on this tank, especially if you fail to detonate the ammo, or if it will take, in some cases, a lot of hits to just kill a tank, since the shell doesn't do a lot of damage and you need to be accurate. Now just look at the X-ray window there. Now I'm trying to detonate the ammo, and the ammo rack is right over here. You can see some shells, but it just refuses to do damage. It just refuses to do enough damage to just kill it. And the ammo is right there, so I just kept shooting and it didn't detonate. I decided to shoot forward, but even I did not get the kill. But that's what I'm talking about. It's a very a smaller caliber, right? While it does do damage when it penetrates, in some cases it might take a while for this gun to kill anything. It's not useless. I do like that high rate of fire on this thing, and I would say that high rate of fire is the most satisfying thing about this little vehicle. And also, the maneuverability on this tank isn't that bad. It's not as maneuverable as the Sherman, not as fast as the Sherman, not as agile as the T1E1, but it does have a decent armor, and the armor does get the job done really well. Honestly, there's something quite satisfying about driving this tank. The main gun, as I mentioned before, is decent. Even though if it's a small gun, it is still decent, and it still does damage when it penetrates. High rate of fire means you will be shooting a lot, and sometimes shooting a lot is also very fun. I was close, almost could have killed that Panzer IV. Now I can't. Yeah, that Panzer IV is gone. Well, let's go into the city. I'm flanking the enemy. This tank could be pretty good at used at flanking, since In some instances you might bounce some enemy tanks, but it is nothing too serious. The gun is accurate. Despite the gun being short, it is indeed quite accurate, which is kind of weird since usually these shorter barrel cannons or shorter guns, they don't tend to have a good accuracy or range. Now the range aspect on this, yeah, it definitely doesn't have a lot of range, obviously, and the penetration will definitely drop off quite significantly at long distances. But it usually lands where you want it to land. Now, of course, some angle targets might be a bit more difficult to penetrate. That Sherman took a direct hit in the ammo, but didn't blow up. Angling works really well. And there we go. Oh, wait a second, one more hit. There we go. Took a while for me to kill that tank. Either you have to be really accurate or just spend a bunch of shots into the enemy. I don't mind that. Sometimes it does detonate when you nail the spot. That's a good hit. And a second one, there we go. Oh, that's a SPAA shooting at me in the back. I think I can just go towards it, or I have to be careful. Some SPAAs can penetrate your side armor. Your front armor is good, but side armor, I mean as any side armor, the side armor might not be that good, so always try to put the thickest armor towards your enemy. So that the enemy has a tough time breaking through the armor. Oh look, a M4. That was a beautiful explosion right in the ammo. This, I mean, it might not be the best gun, obviously, but honestly, it is very fun to use. It is extremely fun to use, and it does get the job done. Obviously, this tank is nowhere near as effective as the T1E1 or as the Calliope, but this thing does have its own charm, and it is still quite the enjoyable tank to drive around. The SPAA of this platoon, I think it's also fairly decent, although very similar to the non-premium SPAA. We have seen that one already, so nothing much special for that tank, but the M4A5 is quite the odd one, quite odd and interesting little tank. Now I got the same map, but a different position on the map. Well, never mind. Let's just go forward, and this tank can lower the gun really well. Has very good gun depression. Does take advantage of that terrain. If you can find a spot where you can hide the hull, it will be a good position. After all, the turret on this thing is very small. It's difficult to hit, and this position right here is potentially going to be very evil. Now, panzers, they are very easy to penetrate. The T-34s could technically be a challenge occasionally. But for some, there we go, finally. Oh, well, did you see that? Almost no damage. I mean, you can see how much damage the gun does, and the shell does. It does take a while to kill sometimes. Let's shoot the T-34 in the turret ring. The turret ring is now jammed, probably killed some crew members. The T-34 is approaching, but I think, yeah, the T-34 is wrecked. This right here is a very evil position for this vehicle. Now look, two Panzer IVs. Now, sometimes the shell will bounce, not a big problem honestly. Usually the second one does penetrate, but just to keep in mind that you really have to be accurate with this gun, since it's a small caliber, small shell, small gun, and sometimes you really have to put a couple of shells into the enemy in order to kill it. And it's still alive. Just have to put more shells into it, and there we go. Panzer IV killed. Even the turret flew off. Not necessarily a bad thing. Again, as I said before, it's very fun to use this gun and very fun to use this tank. The high rate of fire is really something that I enjoy on this vehicle. The fun factor is indeed quite high with the M4A5. And definitely it's still a weird tank. It is still a very weird vehicle. But I like weird vehicles. They are, in most cases, quite fun to drive around. Panzer's trying to go, but Panzer got wrecked. Because I put one shell right in the turret, and that was more than enough to disable the Panzer. Now let me see. I mean, the enemy is holding the base. Okay. There's one vehicle right there, a Stug 3. Now the Stug 3 can be a dangerous opponent. Have to make sure that you shoot at the Stug in the right spots. Usually try to aim at the weak spots. The ammo is located on the right side, right there where I was shooting at. Usually 1 or 2 hits is enough to blow up the ammo on the Stug, or you can also shoot at the driver's hatch and kill the driver and gunner and loader. Now, I mentioned that this vehicle doesn't have a lot of ammo to begin with, and well, you can load this thing with ammo, but I tend to not do that. And something funny, I run out of ammo very quickly on this vehicle, so very soon I will have to go and reload. Now I'm trying to kill the crew and the ammo, but yeah, that Panzer IV just refuses to die. Finally, took just 5 shells to kill that Panzer IV, and I am left with only 1 shell and 3 HE shells. Now I have the HE shells if I encounter light armored vehicles. HE shell usually just kills them, but I also have AP, and this time I actually wished I had only AP, but only AP is not really the smartest thing to do, and it bounced. Lovely. Should have shot at the turret. Well, a high explosive means I can shoot at the rockets on the Calliope, and hopefully my team will capture the zone so I can go and reload this thing. One more missile. One more. Well, I guess I have only 1 HE shell left, and that's it. No ammo. Very good. Did manage to help my teammate to kill 2 vehicles. Now let me reload. I am out of ammo. Officially out of ammo. And this is a thing that happens quite often with this vehicle. You will be running out of ammo if you shoot a lot, and you will be shooting a lot, since the reload on this thing is quite impressive. 4-second reload. It is about the same reloads that we see on the AST RV103C, which is an autoloader, so that's just how quick this is reloading. And honestly, probably one of the more fast reloads. I think this is the second fastest reloading tank. We could have some more tanks with a 57mm main gun that reloads like this, but definitely one of the more fast reloading tanks that we have in the game. And well, seems like we are winning. I took like 11 shells, should be enough for the... Hopefully it is enough until the match ends. But again, this thing is just ridiculously fun to drive around, and I've had a blast so far with the M4A5. Even though it's obviously not the best vehicle, I mean, if you want to do more, I guess this vehicle can do a lot actually. Although it does feel like it's easier to run the T1E1 or the Calliope than this thing. Well, at least that's how it seems like to me at the moment. But that was a good victory. Nice work to the team, and most importantly, it was fun. Fun is the most important thing. Well, Well, let's go to the next match with the M4A5. Again, I don't know how I managed to miss this tank for so long. And again, I get the same map. Well then, okay, I guess it's this map today. But different side, same game mode, but different side. I think it's also a different zone. Well, it will do. It will do. Let me go to my favorite position. Now, this vehicle, as I mentioned before, it is a very small tank. The turret is very small, so you can take advantage of the size of this thing and basically position it in such a way that it's nearly impossible for the enemy to see you. And this is basically what I'm attempting to do here. My turret got busted, but the turret of the T-34 also got busted. And I can also put more shells. There we go. Okay, someone else got the kill. Alright, a tank is back in action. I got hit by oh look, Avenger, M4A5, beautiful. And that actually destroyed the ammo on one side and destroyed the ammo on the other side. It went from one side to the other side of the tank. That's kind of impressive. I mean, the Avenger doesn't have much armor to begin with. But yeah, that was a good solid hit. And that was a Panzer IV that got wrecked as well. Maybe it's a good idea to start flanking the enemy team, or maybe I should just stick back. Yeah, I think it's smarter for me to... Actually, I'll stay here for a while. We have a M4. Oh, someone else got a kill, that's fine. Let me roll around, because why not? I am nearing the enemy position here, the enemy zone. Could potentially mean I can get some good kills. Okay, killed the gunner, commander and driver. And yeah, Karoo knocked out, 2 hits. Another Panzer IV. I have no idea what damage I did to it. Second hit, it didn't penetrate. Third hit, it did some weird damage, I guess. How many hits is this thing going to take? That driver is made out of... That driver took like shrapnel in the face and still alive somehow. Imagine taking like 3 hits from a 57mm to kill. That's kind of funny. 3 direct hits, and that driver is a champion. Well, was a champion. Okay, well that was a penetrating hit, but obviously it did no damage, and yeah, that tank can penetrate the armor quite easily. It's basically very similar to the T1E1. Well, technically it is the T1E1, but a non-premium version of the tank. And it's funny because the T1E1 is technically a rank 4 vehicle, tier 4 vehicle in tier 2, which is very evil. And that tank is very, very, very scary. It's a very dangerous machine. Probably the best tank of this platoon, of the Kaliop platoon. The T1E1 is probably the best of this platoon, but you know, this vehicle also does get the job done without much of a problem. Which of course is a good thing. Means that you can use this vehicle and basically not worry about the performance, but honestly the T1E1 is definitely the wildest tank of this platoon. And that was a victory. Not the best one, but you know, nonetheless a victory. Well, with that being said, that was the M4A5. Honestly, a very weird vehicle, but a fun one, and I had fun driving it. With that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed. If you would like to support me, feel free to like and subscribe. And with that being said, stay safe, and as always, I'll see you next time.